write it down anyway, because that's a thought. You don't want to keep holding on to it and keep thinking, I don't want to go live. I don't want to go live. Just write it down. Just write going live to promote the event, and then you can expand from there. The first part of the Buyfrost method is B. B is for brainstorm. Mind map as many ideas as you can, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The objective is to get everything out of your head and onto paper or the screen. If you've never mind mapped before, this can be helpful to see as a visual. So if you are listening right now on your podcast app, maybe go over to our YouTube and check out the visual side of this if you don't know what a mind map is, but I'm going to describe it the best I can here. Mind map is a way to brain dump and start to organize your thoughts. But the key here is to start to organize your thoughts. You don't want to focus too much on the organization piece at this stage. Right now, we are just brainstorming. We are getting all of our ideas onto paper and expanding them as much as possible, because when you're holding ideas in your head, whether they're good or bad or ugly, you're holding them in your head, and that's where your energy is going, is holding them. That's where the problem is, because what you need to be doing is actually discerning which are the good ideas that are fitting for this particular project and which aren't going to fit this project or may even be just straight a bad idea. And you can't do that kind of discerning when you're holding and using all of your energy to hold the thoughts in your head. So let's get them onto paper. Start with the central idea. In our case, we're going to write virtual event in the middle. And you can start with anything here when you're mind mapping. But right now, we're going to use the example of virtual event. So write down virtual event in the center and draw a circle around it. From here, just do word association. Write down around that all of the things that you associate with virtual event. So you might write Zoom or Facebook group or summit or conference or challenge, all of these things. And then you can continue to expand on that. What's the word association with Zoom? Someone, when I was doing this workshop live, commented boring and yawn. So you might write those things. It's getting all of the thoughts onto paper. So boring and yawn isn't an idea per se, but it's something to keep in mind while you're planning your event. If your association with Zoom is yawning, maybe you don't want to host your event on Zoom. And so you might look for an alternative platform or an alternative way to run your event. So this is the whole point here, is getting the good, bad, and ugly thoughts and ideas associated with this event that you want to plan onto the paper. It is key, I've said it a few times and I'm going to say it one more time, it is key to get the good, the bad, and the ugly onto the paper with no judgment. Right now, you are just writing down associations. You're not making a judgment as to whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, fits this project or doesn't. You're just getting those thoughts that are all spinning in your head onto the paper or the screen, wherever you're doing this mind map, and not judging right now. Just let your mind go. We're dumping all of the thoughts and ideas. Let yourself be a visionary here and expand on one side or the other of your mind map. Maybe you've got your virtual event as the topic in the center, and you start brainstorming different topics off of that as to what your virtual event could look like. Maybe one of those words is connection, and then you expand from there. Networking, co-working, these are all options to inspire connection at your virtual event. Will you have speakers? Will you not? Something really helpful as you're brainstorming, once you get those initial thoughts dumped and you want to spur yourself on to come up with more ideas and expand from there, think of the 5 W's and the H. What, where, when, how, and why. And I think I skipped one, but you know them and you can Google them and look them up real quick. But these are the kinds of things that will help spur your ideas, because if you think virtual event, okay, where? Zoom, Facebook group, online. You can get really broad or you can get really specific. You can brainstorm other alternative platforms. When? What time of year? What day of the week? Is it going to be a weekend or a weekday? How many days? And you can start expanding on those ideas from there. Your where could also include an aspect of an in-person event, and you could make this hybrid where you gather some people together and then stream virtually to everyone else. The sky's the limit here, and that's the idea, is you want to blow up this brainstorm balloon as big as you can first, and then we're going to start cutting down in the next couple of steps. As you expand, take a new word that is a part of your mind map on one side or the other, and use that as your new center. Something that maybe resonates or that you just have run out of paper, you can grab another piece of paper, grab one concept from your mind map brainstorm, put that as the center. So maybe your new center is co-working sessions, and you just brainstorm everything around that co-working session. Once again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to write down everything without judging what you're writing down. Get as much onto the paper as possible. Another prompt for getting more onto the paper is to think, what have I seen other people do? And again, this can be stuff that you saw that doesn't resonate with you and that you don't like, but this can also be things that might make it into your event. Right now, it doesn't matter. Just write them down. You're going to need to market your virtual event. Who's going to be there? How are you going to reach them? What are some marketing tactics that you've seen other people use to market events? Write them down. Maybe it's going live and you're not really comfortable going live. Write it down anyway, because that's a thought. You don't want to keep holding on to it and keep thinking, I don't want to go live. I don't want to go live. Just write it down. Just write going live to promote the event, and then you can expand from there. Maybe you even expand on that thought. Maybe you just dump it and set it there, like setting it on a shelf, and you know that that's not going to resonate, so you don't go anywhere with that. But maybe it triggers some other thoughts, and so you can have that piece written down going live. Then you can write down why you don't like it, why other people do, why it works for other people, and why you think it won't work for you. If those are thoughts that are coming up in your head, write them down so that they are on the paper and you can move on from there.